Hi, folks. Today we're going to be talking about music. And who doesn't love music, right? Well, my special guest is one of my favorite singers. Her name is Erin Bode. I first stumbled upon her music accidentally about 6 years ago and have loved it since. I like her innocence and vulnerability in her voice, the way she sings. And 6 years later, I'm still listening to the music. It's mellow and relaxing. And believe me, during this time of COVID-19, we all need a bit of relaxation and a bit of comfort. And this music certainly brings that to you, right? I'm Michael Robinson, host of the Michael S. Robinson Show every day on microbinradio. We're streaming live here on Facebook and YouTube with our series Beyond COVID-19. On Facebook, we are Michael Robinson NY, and on YouTube, it's Michael S. Robinson. And every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 6 p.m., right here on Facebook, you can catch us. Please subscribe to the channel on Facebook and YouTube, and give us a thumbs up if you like what we're saying. Please respond with questions and comments. They're all very much welcomed. Well, my guest, Erin Bode, is a singer and songwriter who is comfortable mixing jazz standards with well-known pop tunes and classics from the Great American Songbook, one of my favorite genres, in a typical performance. She is the daughter of a Lutheran pastor in Minnesota. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest, Erin Bode. Welcome to the show, Erin.
Hi, how are you, Michael?
I am great, thanks. I'm great. So we're going to talk a little bit about your music. We'll talk a little bit about COVID-19. We'll talk about what you're planning to do moving forward and all of that good stuff. It's wonderful having you finally, that I can see you've been on the show before, so I can see you now. It's wonderful.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This is really a pleasure for me.
It's a pleasure for me as well. So tell me, how are you doing at this time of COVID-19 and all of the ramifications involved for an artist like yourself?
Yes, well, obviously, I'm sure you can understand things have changed very drastically. I'm primarily a live performer, and that is how I've made my living for almost 20 years. And so this is a difficult time, but I also, I don't know, I've been able to kind of remain pretty optimistic, and kind of try to think of ways to move forward, like you've been saying.
Yes, no, I mean, you have to find a way. You know, I was talking to you earlier about just production in my studio. I mean, I'm doing everything myself. I learned how to
Yeah.
be a video engineer, an audio engineer, the cameraman, the lighting
Yeah.
person. Sometimes the lights are bad, sometimes they're good, but you figure it out as you go along. And I'm thinking, this is so cool because 6 months ago, I never would have thought that I would be doing all of this in terms of a production. I would be
Yeah.
completely intimidated by the idea. So you have to kind of like think outside of the box, and find strategies that
Hmm.
work for you and
That's right.
figure out how to navigate this very unusual time.
Hmm.
So, yeah,
It's really funny that you say that, actually, because the project that I've been working on recently is one where I've been required to do a lot of recording at home, which is something I've never had to do for myself before.
right.
And I've learned a lot. It's been a big learning curve for me, but I'm really grateful that I've actually acquired some pretty important skills that I didn't have before.
It's fantastic. Absolutely. So, on one hand, it's a little bit disconcerting because you're thinking, oh my goodness, can I do this? Do I have to learn this? I'm not accustomed to doing this. And then on the other hand, once you get past the hurdle, and you're on the other side of having known that experience and gained that knowledge, it feels like, wow, this isn't so bad at all. So,
That's
yeah,
right.
I totally get it. So, for
Hmm.
people who have never heard of you before, give us a little background as to who you are. Tell us about yourself.
Well, you pointed out a moment ago that I grew up in Minnesota, and my dad is a Lutheran pastor. But I grew up there. I lived there till partway through high school, and then we all moved to St. Louis, Missouri, which is where I currently live now. And I started studying music in college. I went to both the University of Minnesota, but also I went to Webster University here in St. Louis, and I studied vocal performance and jazz performance and foreign languages, just to diversify things a little bit. And
Sure.
and so yeah, I've been here ever since, but have had a couple of record contracts and then also released several albums independently myself, and have toured all over the country, the world. And I've just been really grateful to be able to make a career, based here in the Midwest. And currently, I'm spending quite a bit of time as well in Nashville,
Hmm.
where I work with a variety of musicians. But I've started a new project that's sort of coming at couldn't come at a better time, really, during what we're going through, this big shift in the music industry. I've started recording songs for people on request. If somebody has a song or a poem or something that really means a lot to them and they'd like it put into a song, I will either write it for them or I'll record a favorite song of theirs.
Wow,
So
that's
that's been
great.
really fun.
Yes. So, how does one get in touch with you in order to do that? I mean, it sounds like
Well, you
something
could,
that a lot of folks would be interested in.
yeah, I mean, you could send me an email through my website, erinbode.com. And my email address is erin@erinbode.com. So you can send any inquiries, or if you just want to kind of get a little more information about it, we can chat about it. And yeah, I've actually, just before all of this happened, a couple months ago, I had kind of accumulated a roster of songs that I was going to be recording. And
Right.
it has been the thing that has sustained me through these months. I've been working on them with my partner in Nashville, Victor Krause.
Hmm.
And we've just been sending music back and forth and recording these songs and writing. And like I said, I've been learning all these skills of having to do this myself, but it's just been really, really rewarding. I'm very grateful to have had the chance to work on this.
Right, right, right. Now, I want to play one of my favorite songs for everybody to hear in a little bit. And I think you know what that song is, right?
I think I might. Maybe you played a little bit of it earlier on Instagram,
Well, yeah, I did.
or is it a
Right,
different
but
one?
in one of my shows before, remember we were on AM 970 in New York with
Mhm.
you at least two times, and I probably played that song and another one, but we'll talk about that later. So let's talk
Great.
about how music has shaped your life, because I mean, for me, music is so important, right? I mean, it's like the thing that makes me happy. It's the thing that motivates me to work out at the gym. It's the thing that motivates me
Yeah.
to go through an amazing vinyasa flow when I'm doing yoga, or if I want to
Mhm.
relax with company or by myself. It's just the thing that shapes our lives. But for a musician, it's a different phenomena, right? Because musicians have a different concept when it comes to either performing or writing, and you're both. You're a performer and you are a writer. How does it shape your life? Tell us about that.
Well, I don't think it's all that really different from the way you described it. I mean, music is my constant companion. There is no moment in life that isn't, in my opinion, best described in a song. And so I am, as much as I am a performer, I'm a singer and I write music as well. I am an avid music listener. I'm listening to music all the time, and it just never lets me down. So I completely relate to what you're saying about,
Hmm.
it doesn't really matter what you're doing. There is a song for it, and there's
Sure,
music that accompanies it. And it
sure.
really it puts me in this place of, anything reflection. I feel like I
Hmm.
have kind of, I'm empowered when I listen to music. I can kind of control the story that's going on in my life with it, and it's a really wonderful thing. So yeah.
So I am going to play that song that I mentioned earlier for
Okay.
everybody to hear.
Painted sky I'm holding to. Every time I see you start to fall, my heart goes flying. There's a caution underneath the yellow moon. Every time I see the falling leaves, I start to feel like I used to. Back when late October fate was feeling right. Every time a street light flashes by my car, I see you. It's not too late to get it straight, to get it right. If my heart should break, I can't blame the season. It's the chance I have to take. I put all my fortune, I put all my love at stake for a holiday. Everywhere I go, it seems to me you're right there with me. It's an autumn painted sky I'm holding to. Everywhere I've been, it seems to me I might have been too. There's a caution underneath the yellow moon. Every time I see the falling leaves, I start to feel like I used to. Back when late October fate was feeling right. Every time a street light flashes by my car, I see you. It's not too late to get it straight, to get it right. If my heart should break, I can't blame the season. It's the chance I have to take. I put all my fortune, I put all my love at stake for a holiday.
So, Erin, that song, for me, I'll tell you what it means for me, right? It's a very hopeful song, right? It's about taking a chance in life. It's about, and yeah, I mean, it talks about love, and it probably you'll tell me what you thought about when you wrote the song and sang it. But for me, it's more than love. It's about taking a chance on life, taking a chance on the possibility of trying something new or different. And if it doesn't work out the way you planned, at least you took a chance. It's about being hopeful. It's a positive song.
Yeah, I mean, I think you nailed it. That is definitely how I see it as well. And that song was written at a time in my life where I was just starting out on my career. That was it was the second album that I recorded, but things were the music industry, my life, everything that was going on was kind of happening for the first time for me. And I did have that attitude, I was in a really kind of optimistic place where I just wanted to take chances and see how things would turn out in life. And I try to maintain that attitude. I think that's something that's kind of important for, well, anybody, but especially when you're an independent, self-employed person, you kind of have to have that spirit of testing things and trying things out and seeing what works and what doesn't work. And this song's sort of like that anthem for me.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love it. And the other thing that happens is that when I listen to you sing, there's a certain vulnerability and innocence about it. And
Thank you.
That speaks volume because, you've got a lot of music that's out there that can be just, commercialized and very, created for an audience to make them shake and move and whatever. But when something is written from a place of innocence that makes you vulnerable, that makes you open, I think it connects on a deeper level, especially with somebody like me and many people that I know as well. So yes, even though you may not be listening to every word the person is saying, the vulnerability in the delivery of the music and the words is just really very impactful for me. And that's how I interpret your music. There's an innocence, there's a vulnerability. You have that other song that I like, Holding Back the Years. I wanted to play it as well, but I didn't get the opportunity to load it into my my contraption here. So, but I advise people to go and look for this song. Holding Back the Years is amazing. And it's available on iTunes, and it's available on Amazon.com. Right? Amazon Music, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think
and it's on
everywhere.
the album Holiday, correct?
That's right.
Okay. So Holding Back the Years.
Well, it's over and over, but it's the same album.
Over and over, correct. And Holding Back the Years is a song, is one of the singles, and the other one is Holiday that I played for you before, and it's just absolutely amazing. No, so you told me what inspired you to produce the song. How do you interpret it every time you sing it? Do you think about it the same way you originally wrote it, or is it a different interpretation? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I absolutely know what you mean. I mean, that's a really good question, actually, because I have noticed this, having like that song. I probably have sung that particular song, Holiday, more than any other song ever. I mean, we probably performed it at every gig
Right.
from the time we wrote it to this recently. But I think what's one of the most, I don't know, rewarding, interesting, fascinating things about being a performer. I mean, my viewpoint on writing songs and performing is that I am sharing a story with people. I am sharing an experience that is sort of a universal type experience. And when I tell them that story, I'm hoping that they will be able to bring to the experience something that they've gone through, and then we relate to each other. We kind of have this shared moment. And that song, because I think there is a lot of openness in that song with the lyrics on what it means. I mean, the way you hear it means something to you, and
Sure.
the way that I hear it, or what I was thinking when I wrote it, is something that came from my own experiences. And but because those things evolve and change over years, I mean, it means something new to me each time that I sing it. And I think that's just one of the most magical things about songs and lyrics and music, is that each time it occurs, it's a different experience, even though it's the same words and the same chords and the same notes.
Right.
There's something new about it every time, and that's just really magical. And
Yeah, and I think it goes. Yeah, no, you're right. I think it goes for the listener as well, because
I hope so.
Based on what frame of mind you're in, whether you're going through a situation of should I really get involved in this relationship with this person? Would I be heartbroken? Should I give it a chance? Or 6 months later, you're past that relationship and you're thinking of, well, should I start a business, or should I go back to college, or should I do this? What if it doesn't work out? Because a lot of what we deal with as humans is the emotion of fear, right? We are afraid of being hurt. We're afraid of losing or being disappointed. And what that song does is that it colors an experience you're going through based on the openness, as you said. And I love the fact that you said it's open for interpretation, because the openness of the song allows you to kind of personalize it based on what you're dealing with in your life at that point in time.
Yes, I completely agree. Yeah. I mean, I always look at individual songs. They're like these perfectly packaged experiences that you can open new every time you hear the song or every time you sing it. And it has a new impact on you. And it's just, I mean, we could go on and on about
it's stuff I love. So as you can tell, I'm not a singer at all. even though you heard me singing a little bit in the background, and I have no desire to want to pursue that career at all. But I do appreciate you, Erin, for what you do and all the joy you bring to people's lives. I want you to continue to expand and grow and thrive and prosper, and whatever I can do to help that process along, I'm more than happy to do so. So it's wonderful having you on the show today. Just before we go, who is your favorite singer?
Oh my goodness, that's almost impossible to decide.
I know.
have
I ask
so
impossible
many.
questions.
Probably one of my very, very favorite singers. Turns out to actually be a very dear friend of mine. I am a huge admirer of Suzanne Cox, who is this incredible singer. She is kind of in the bluegrass gospel genre, but she you would probably know her music if you saw the movie Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Back in, I think it was 2001 maybe, or something. I can't remember. Don't quote me on the year.
Right, that's
But
fine.
she and her family group, the Cox family, were featured in that film. And when I heard her voice for the first time, I was like, that's how it's supposed to work. So
So
she's one of my favorites.
you do have a connection to gospel music then, in that, from what you're saying, because she's sort of like a country gospel singer. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. I mean, like I said, I am an avid music listener. I listen to music in any genre. I do
Yes,
not discriminate, and
yeah.
I just, if it's good and it speaks to me, I wanna listen to it.
I
So,
totally agree. I totally agree. It was an unfair question, but I just, I sometimes try to pick people's minds on what they think. Now, if you were to be given one person, one singer that you'd like to sing with in future, who would that be?
that I haven't sung with. Maybe
That you
let's
haven't sung
say
with?
it.
Yes,
Yeah, because I've
yes.
had the pleasure of singing with Suzanne. But
Right,
if
correct.
let's see. Oh my goodness, I don't know how to choose that either. This is really difficult. You're putting me on the spot.
I know, I
Um,
know. You'll forgive me after this.
oh my goodness, I don't know who I would say. A singer. I mean, probably I think one of the greatest singers of all time too is Stevie Wonder. I mean, that's like I
Wow.
mean, yeah, he's
Stevie, are you
king of the
hearing
Bible.
this?
No, he's just somebody who has everything in his voice.
Right,
You know, the nuance of expression and
right,
phrasing. I mean, he was like an innovative phraser,
right.
and just of course the power and the yeah everything. The
Yes, yes.
writing. Oh, yeah, he like reads my mind apparently when he's writing songs.
No,
I know I wasn't
absolutely.
born
It's
when most of them were
in
written, but
yeah, yeah. Yeah, he's really an incredible songwriter and performer.
yeah,
Yeah, it's amazing the talent he has. As do
yeah.
you. So tell us about your immediate future. What are you planning to do for
Yeah.
the next couple of months and years to
Well,
come?
like I said, this is a very interesting time in music, and I've had the great pleasure of, like I said, working with Victor Krauss in
Sure.
Nashville, and we're kind of building this business together of recording songs for people, and we kind of have all the necessary pieces of the puzzle so that we can do this. And I've probably recorded maybe 15 to 20 songs for people so far, and I'm trying to just kind of expand on that and build that out. But I also have the pleasure of serving on the Memphis chapter board for the Recording Academy, and that's been really it's been a really wonderful connection to be able to make with these other industry people and musicians at this time, because we're sort of able to take the measurements of music and kind of figure out what's going on in the music industry, what has worked, what maybe needs to be rethought, and sort of where the future of music is going. So I'm trying to like we were talking about earlier, try new things
Mm-hmm.
and experiment and
Mm-hmm.
look at my career and music in general maybe in a new way. But I'm really seeing this as a very good opportunity to be optimistic this time that we're going through, because music has been shifting and changing quite a bit over the last several years, maybe even, over a decade. Things have really shifted in music. But with this, with kind of the removal of the possibility of live music for, what people are saying is like a year or more is how long we might end up going without, large gatherings and
Sure.
live music. And it seems daunting, and it seems a lot of times, especially as just a performer and professional musician, that the deck is sort of stacked against you,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
kind of think, well, where do we go from here? But I think there are a lot of opportunities, and if you use that creative mind that you've been given to come up with new solutions and sort of assess where your strengths are, what you're great at, what you can offer your listeners. There's just so many opportunities. So it's exciting.
Yeah, no. You've actually hit the nail on the head where that's concerned. Very, very, very true. And I thank you for your inspiration. That was awesome. Are you planning on dropping any albums in the near future? Are you planning on doing anything in terms of production of your own?
Well, I am working toward that. I've been writing new music for a new recording. So yes, I hope,
Good.
things have, like, kind of gone a little crazy in the last few months.
Yes.
So the schedules have kind of turned around a little bit. But yeah, that is absolutely something that's in my I don't know, schedule.
Hmm.
If I
Hmm.
have a schedule
Good.
anymore. I
Good.
don't really
Good.
have a schedule, but
No, I know what you're saying, and I wish you all the best with that. So, ladies and gentlemen, Erin Bode, spelt Bode, and you can find her music. Actually, you have your own website. You can plug it if you wish, Erin.
oh yes, it's erinbode.com, and of course you can see what's happening in our world at the website. But you can also order music. I'll send you CDs, or I have a vinyl recording of my most recent album called Here and Now. So I'll send one out to you if you want to place an order on my website.
I will be very much interested. I want that quite a bit. So, yes, I'm very much interested. Thank you so much for being with me, and all my best to you.
So much, Michael. It was really, really nice to talk to you. Yeah, it's good to see you as well, like you said.
Yeah, finally. Thank you. Thank you again. All the best. Until next time, all right?
Okay, great. I
Okay.
can't wait.
I'm Michael Robinson. Remember, this is your time. Use it wisely.